Holy crap, everybody. It's time. We're here. It is CPW 2022. I am sitting uh, I'm sitting near all of it. So I think right now behind me you see this is not my basement anymore. This is MIT officially. And we have bag check over there. We have me here. And we're ready to go. So there's not a lot to say yet because everybody's just getting started. Everybody's just checking in. But it was quite the journey, quite the drive to get here. Um, so, but we're here. I think I left Indiana yesterday at let's get that out there. Left Indiana yesterday at like 7:30 p.m. Drove through the night, got here into Boston. Sorry, I started driving 2 days ago at 7:30 p.m. Got into Boston like at 3 p.m. the next day after like 17, 18 hours of driving, whatever that is. I'm not doing that math right now. But now we're here. So I found a place to park where presumably I won't get towed and won't get a ticket. And let's see here. Let's get my pattern up here. This is all fine and well down here, but what I need is this right there. Everything I'm saying here is not something you can see or care about here. All right. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, and of course no one's actually tuned into the stream right now, so you can't, I'm explaining this to people who watch later, but this is Snively's cross-stitching corner. This is born from CP Star, which is like MIT CPW online edition from a couple years ago due to the COVID situation. MIT's campus preview weekend had to be taken online, and as they were scrambling to try to find content and things to do and offer, having just recently lost my job and with an abundance of free time on my hands, I stepped in and said, hey, it's really weird, but something that I can do to contribute is I can cross-stitch live on the internet, and then people can watch that. And MIT was like, sure, we're desperate enough for that, let's do it. So no, it was really kind of them. So anyway, I live streamed for CPW for a couple of years, but now this year is the first year in a couple where we are back on campus, and I decided to make the trip out to actually cross-stitch live and in person. So here we are. Drove 17 hours through the night, found parking in Cambridge without spending over $200, which was exciting, and now we're here. So my goal for this, I have a custom special pattern that you can see up there in the upper right that I designed just for CPW. I have 3.14 days because, of course, it's MIT, right? So it's 3.14 days of CPW. 3.14 days to try to get the whole thing done. And I did some time studies to try to figure out approximately how long I think it would take me, cross stitch for a couple hours, see how many stitches I get, and then do the math. And I think I can finish this entire cross stitch in 3.14 days if I cross stitch for like 16 hours a day. So that's the plan. Gonna try to cross stitch for 16 hours a day. And we're gonna get it done. So I have to be a little careful here because this, you can see the pattern, there's like a hoop outline here, and that is like I'm pretty sure that's the exact diameter of this hoop. And so I can't just willy-nilly just start wherever because I will get too close to the edges. So I have to start in a very specific place. So the first step to all this is always like find the center point of the fabric. And then from that, you count out and get like some reference point stitches. So the first thing we want to do on the pattern is figure out like where my center is. And the software I use, you can see right here, it's handy. There's a little dot right where the center is. So let's zoom in on that just a hair. Right there. And it makes it really hard to see once you do this. So I'm going to start with black because black is my outline. And I'm probably going to start right here. And as I start here, I don't know what route I'm gonna go yet, but I'll probably take off to the right, or actually, you know what? I'll probably mark center and then start over here. I don't like to start in the middle of a line. Oh, I don't know. I'm overthinking. So I guess the next step is to try to find center of this hoop. And I wonder if I can eyeball it, because that looks like a lot of counting. I don't have a ruler. Oh, I have a tape measure. Hold on. This is going to be great. All right, hold on. Second. All right. Totally have a tape measure. Tape measures are, I don't know. I heard on a podcast or something, it's like, oh, people can't be expected to necessarily just have a tape measure in their house. And then I think back to my house, and it's like, I have tape measures. I have probably 24 tape measures. Every room in my house has a tape measure sitting in there. I always have a tape measure. All right, so here's 6 inches. All right, so it's a 12-inch hoop. So we're going to mark it 6 inches in that dimension. And then, ooh, nailed it, 6 inches there. So that's the exact center. Does that seem right? Well, the hoop's not square. Oh, what a bugger. Look at that. Okay, so it's 12 inches there, and it's 11 and a half here. So let's take that to 5 3/4. That should work. Stitching in an oblong. All right. Oh, you get a nice view of the top of my head when I do that. Okay. It's a nice haircut. You can see how they got behind my ears. All right. So let's go 2 rows up. Not that it matters a ton right now. This is where we're going to start. Our stitch is right here. So for those just tuning in or who skipped the beginning because it was especially boring, I am on campus, and my background today is not my basement. It is, I'm sure there's a name for this place. Oh yeah, the Catherine N. Stratton Lounge. Catherine N. Stratton Lounge. It's on the 2nd floor of the MIT Student Center. It is kind of right near MIT Bag Check and the not registration, but like the check-in for MIT CPW 2022. And I'm kind of tucked out of the way so people won't see me immediately. But this whole setup here is on wheels, so I expect that I will end up going mobile at some point in the not too distant future. My plan is to stitch for over 3 days straight. Like ideally, like I just don't sleep. I beg people for food and pay them handsomely for bringing it to me, and then just keep going and going and going and going. And it's gonna be awesome. You know what I can't see this way? Here is the chat, the way I have my screens. Aha! Now I can see the chat. I can see that my wife tuned in just to prove that she loves me, which I appreciate. Thank you. All right. So, I am... Ooh, something very loud behind me. But I think it's not getting picked up on my mic, so I think I'm good. Dear wife of mine, I'm going to count on you to let me know if my audio is clipping in and out, or if I need to, because I've got a lot of background noise removal on. So there's a chance that when I start talking, it clips off the front of my words. So I will need to know from you or from someone if that's happening. Okay, I need to go 41 stitches to my right. So here we go. I'm gonna see you. Oh, and actually, while my wife is the only one here, are you listening or are you watching? Here, watch the screen for a little bit. Let me know when you can see the screen. I'll show you something cool I can do. I taught it a new trick. I taught it 2 new tricks, actually. Just see a winky face. No evidence that you know I'm even alive. That's fine. That's how most of my stream goes. No evidence that there's any life on the planet because the chat just sits there quietly and I just sit here quietly. All right. Check this out. Ready? Trick number one. We have the what is Michael going to talk about wheel. Or do this. How fun is that? I love it. Okay, so there's that. And then I can make live streaming is ridiculous. Live streaming cross-stitching is also ridiculous. It's all good though. You know, I'm thinking this is gonna look so weird for people that like are just showing up and have no idea what this is. Like, I don't even like. There's a very real probability that no one is ever going to come up to me, just because it's so like abnormal and funky and strange. But I plan on bribing people with gifts. Maybe I should put one of those on the camera so you can see it. I think the camera's, we got enough going on here. Let's see. So, like the first, I didn't count these. First 30 people who come get like a free MIT CPW cross-stitch kit. Very quiet. Very, very quiet. It should not be very quiet. Let's see. That should get me better. Am I louder now? Maybe turn up the volume. All of my audio checks up until now were fine. So I think it might be your computer. But you never know. So anyway, they last year they got a bunch of cross-stitch kits ordered up and they had some extras. So this year I'm giving them out as rewards or goodie bags or something, whatever, to people who come and say hi. They can have a cross-stitch kit. Me, yeah, I don't know, like I'm a little paranoid about the audio just because it's a totally different environment. And let's see, it's right. Yeah, I can't get it any closer to my face before it'll show up on camera. So we're just gonna kind of roll with it. And then the headphones are on. I don't even know why I keep the headphones on. It's mostly just style points at this point because there is nothing coming through them at all. It just makes me look more legit. So I think I'm going 41. And it's not the end of the world if I go plus or minus, you know, because I can make up for it when I come back in the other direction. So anyway, what I was saying is, this is like a coffee. Did I just set my coffee somewhere? And oh god, that's super lame. My coffee's gone. Oh well. I need a way to. I think I want that over there. Like that. Yep, that's good. And then this over here. Aha, that's good. Okay. And then can I... Sorry, I'm just messing with my windows a little bit here. Oh, I think that's it. I think that's exactly what I want. So now I can see the chat. I can see how many concurrent viewers. I can see the pattern. So yeah, so one of the things I did to prepare for the fact that I plan to cross stitch for like 3 days straight, and the fact that it's like a big pattern, right? Like this is a 12-inch hoop, which is way more than I normally do. I usually don't undergo cross stitches that are this large, or if I do it in sections and I use a smaller hoop. But I don't want to have to like reposition the fabric at all this weekend. So I picked a hoop big enough for the cross stitch that I'm doing, and it's heavy and it's really like leveraged out there, right? Like there's a lot of hoop out here. And so when I hold it, I'm having to compensate on one side for like a lot of cantilever. So normally I would use plastic hoops. They're just more reliable, but I've gone with like a bamboo or like I guess it's not bamboo, it's balsa. Actually don't know. It's probably not bamboo. Anyway, I've gone with a wood hoop because it's lighter, and it should treat me nicer for the next several days. So, all right, let's see where I'm at here. How many stitches have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got more to go. You know what I could do is I could just mark it. Let's do that. So let's go back to my pattern really quick here and figure out, remind ourselves exactly how far we're going. We are going 41. I don't know if you can see it in the upper left here, but there's like a little, it tells you your position and it tells you like the dimensions of the highlighted section. So I highlighted all the stitches I'm about to do, and there's 41 of them. So what I'm going to do is on the fabric here, I'm going to count out 41 and just mark it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's MIT, right? So like numbers. This is what you want, right? You want MIT, and at MIT we use numbers. So you're going to just listen to me count to 41. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. So when I say mark it, essentially what I do is I just kind of, it's like a drill bit when you put it into a wall or a piece of wood. If you kind of swirl it around a little bit, it'll just open up that hole. And that makes it easier to spot. So let's see if I can get it up in front of the camera here. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, right? Like you can see this super big hole like right there. So that's where I'm stitching to. That way I don't have to count more than once or keep checking my work. Just a handy little tip for you. Now, normally you would want to avoid opening up a hole like that because when you go to frame it or display it or something later, that will be visible. So you'll see whatever matting or backing you install it on through the fabric. But because I'm actually going to stitch over that section, right, like that hole will be eaten up by the cross stitch floss going through it. So generally then the rule is don't pop a big hole in the fabric like in the middle of an area that you're not going to be stitching on. But if you are going to be putting a stitch there, it's fine. You can open it up and it'll all pull tight and even out. So I've got a couple of cool features on this stream. So in the bottom right, you can see time since last break. That's just to kind of help me pace myself out and keep track of how long I've been sitting. You'll see it later, but I have a screen that lets me, it has a timer on it that lets me kind of take a break, stretch, walk around for a little bit before coming back. YouTube streams will last for 12 hours. Like the maximum duration of a live stream you can do is 12 hours. So anything is possible part of me thinks that I'm going to hit that number. And I think that the odds are best that I'll hit that number today. There's a couple of reasons why I wouldn't be able to stream for 12 hours straight, right? It's like, one is like I get tired and fall asleep or something. Or like two is, oh my God, we're 18 minutes in and I already have a knot. This bodes well. Monday. Yeah. Do you guys need anything else? You sure? Okay, sorry. Oh my God, that's so infuriating. Normally these aren't actual knots, they're just little like tension twists, but this one is a proper knot. So 20 minutes in, we have a knot. I will go months at a time without getting those. And of course, within the first 20 minutes we get one. So yeah, I may need to move and cut the stream short temporarily, or I may need to sleep, or may get kicked out of wherever I am. I don't know. But the goal is to just go continuously as long as I can. It's weird, I guess I've cross-stitched in coffee shops and things, but I've never self-narrated while doing it. And it's really easy to get self-conscious about it because, like, I don't know, you're just like talking to yourself and people can see you talking to yourself. Then it makes me think about all those YouTubers. And people who like walk around talking to cameras, like the people at Disney World, right? Like if you've ever watched like Disney World vloggers, they just walk around talking to themselves and the looks they get from people, you know, but it's okay. I'm sure within an hour or so, I will just be totally immune to it. Get rid of that. I need like a little bucket or something for like all of my scrap. So anyway, yeah, I wonder, can I keep this in frame without it, like, man, the light's really blowing out. I wonder if there's like, see, when I put my hand here, it's fine. So let me get over here to this position that I marked, and then we'll open up this bag and we'll look and see what's inside for anybody who wants to come and say hi and get bit by the cross-stitch bug. I'm here to feed your habit. I'm here to feed your new hobby and your new obsession. You know what I should probably do at some point? Oh, maybe I'll do it this afternoon because everyone's at work right now. But this afternoon, probably go on to Facebook or something and post a link to this. Okay, look at that. And headed south. So how far south? What am I doing here? I'm stitching here. Okay, so I need... There's 5 stitches before I head left again, so let's do that. It goes great. How goes it with you?
Anything from the other side of the world? I'm headed to E38.
I lost a cup of coffee somewhere, so
Go get coffee inside.
that's the coffee I got, and then I lost it. So,
Do you need a cup of coffee?
if you happen to find coffee in your
What
journeys,
goes in it?
just
Do you want
coffee.
that coffee?
Yeah,
now?
I think I set it like
Let's get
near where I was.
what
Okay,
goes in it.
just black coffee. Thank you.
Of course.
Desperate begging for food begins. That's the one thing, like, I have rules for cross stitching. It's like always wash your hands beforehand so you don't like get the oils all over the fabric. Don't eat while you cross stitch because then your hands get dirty. But like the number one thing that I do always, no matter what, even though it breaks probably a lot of those rules, is I always drink coffee when I cross stitch. I'm always drinking coffee. So let's see, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need one more and then I'm hooking left. 5. Oh, someone, okay, so someone brought fried chicken in here. I smell chicken. I smell it. Bless your soul.
Yeah, I know how this feels.
Thank you.
All right, have fun.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Having a
come back and
blast.
visit you.
You're
I'm
going
so
like,
glad you're doing this.
thank you. Yeah,
Like,
it's fun. It's fun, like, being not in my basement.
There's so many levels to that.
I know, but like, and they're equally wonderful. So it's nice just
Well-
being around people. So yeah, have a
Are
good
you
one.
impactable that you're doing this all weekend? Is it like
Am I what?
in the thing that you're cross stitching and you're here all weekend?
I don't know.
I will look.
I haven't seen the thing. They won't give it to me.
Oh, all right. I will.
So I was gonna steal like do you guys have like printed books?
No.
Not to
Those
share, it's all
days are
online.
gone.
Okay. So yeah, no, I have no idea what it says.
Any more events that say put your sausage in my taco? Because that's not what I wanted to do when I grew up. So it's all online.
That's good.
I will. Do you have my email?
Maybe?
KBRAY, K-Bray. Email me your, and I will.
Helpful. Thank you.
All right. I will be back in an hour or so.
Thank you. I suspect there's going to be a lot of that. which is nice. Texting on my phone that has little stickers on it. Look at the stickers. Okay. Da, da, da. Event descriptions. Por favor. So that's another thing. It's like CPW is fairly locked down. CPW is fairly locked down. Like they really don't want the outside world getting it. So I think this live stream is probably like one of the few conduits of like how to get a view of CPW while not being at CPW. Now, one of the things I did in the past was, oh, it's good copy. I can tell it's good copy because it's coffee. there's a low bar. What I was asking about there just then is like there's an event catalog, or typically like 15 years ago when I was at CPW there are event catalogs, but it's all online now, and they lock that down like super tight. So they don't want anybody who's not like affiliated with MIT or pre-frosh like knowing what the events are and what they're happening. So that includes me. Like even though I'm like literally a part of this and live streaming, because I'm not an MIT staff member and I'm not a pre-frosh, I don't actually know what they can see and what the event thing says. So I did type up what I wanted it to say, but there's all sorts of extra info that it could say. So she's gonna shoot that over to me so I know like what people are expecting. Like it could be like, it could say, hey, go to this totally other room, different room. And people just may never find me. So that's why you can see like up on the banner, it says Snively Cross Stitch Corner streaming from CPW checking. And I am mobile, like I said earlier, so I could roam around and be in different places, and I'll just update that as I move. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back. There we go. We are there. We are headed back around this way. Okay. Oh, we said we were going to look in the thing. Let's look in the thing. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. This right here. We have this bag. It says MIT CP Star. I think it's from last year. Stop it. So step 1 is cross-stitch fabric. This is like Ada. Well, where's my tape measure? Okay, so here's how cross-stitch fabric works. It's stitches per inch, right? So if you say like Ada 14, you've got 14 stitches per inch. This stuff here is way fewer stitches per inch. So let's start here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like 11 stitches per inch. So all that means is that your cross stitch is going to be like way more expanded, and unless you use like a lot of floss, you'll see the backing through the stitches. So you have that. You have this cute little hoop. It's adorable. And then you have a needle, one singular. So you got this big tube here with just like one needle. There we go. And then we have, ooh, that's fun. There you go. This is what you get. So if you guys want to swing by and chat or recommend, or even, you don't even need to swing by, honestly. Like if you get in the chat and you say stuff to me, and then you come by and you say more stuff to me, I will give you a bag of cross-stitching stuff. Okay. So let me put all this back. So here's the fun thing about MIT is like there's a totally different set of vocabulary here, and it's like words and acronyms and things that I haven't heard since like going here as a student. And so it's fun just kind of like hearing the murmuring in the background and hearing all sorts of words and things that I haven't heard. It's back on the pile. I got like a whole bucket of that stuff. Confetti. I don't have sound effects because what I was going to use for a soundboard like totally took a dump this morning. So We have confetti. We have confetti that if I leave it on too long, it like pixelates and freaks out. Oh, it's struggling so hard. All right, let's see how long I can leave it on. Like, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it can burst about 7 times before it starts struggling. Struggle bus confetti. Okay, so this is how it's gonna have to go. And then immediately turn it off so it doesn't like look bad. Okay, 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 okay. We are 30 minutes in. Another thing, I don't know if you can see it. It's like really, 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 really faint. So you've got the actual time down there where it says 9:36 right now, and then just to the left of that, like gray on gray, I have a countdown timer for like when CPW is going to be over. Let's check this thing. Is this thing doing what I want? Yeah, perfect. Oh, God. Hmm. So another trick to all this is to make sure that whatever your background color is, like, so here's my background color. It's like white, see that? Should contrast with what you're stitching, because then, look, see how you can see through the holes? That's so critical. Like, you 100% need to be able to see through the holes. Otherwise, you're gonna just stab blindly at this fabric, and it's just gonna be a terrible experience. So, I actually have, this is my level of I have different colored like desktop mats. So depending on what I'm stitching and what color it is, I swap out the desktop mat so I can get that contrasting color. What's really nice, like what's really nice is if you're like sitting on the couch and stitching. I never use paper patterns. Like I always use like the computer pattern. And the backlight from your screen is super awesome, no matter what color fabric you're using, like just having that light glow through. So I considered getting like a light table for this, but I imagine like on this camera here, cool. ET. How close can I get before the zoom? Oh, it's coming, it's coming. Okay. That camera there would like really struggle because it'd be looking straight down into a light box. So I think just a contrasting color and some light really gets it done. So I found a computer chair. It's interesting. Like this was it's kind of a not scrappy insurgency. 10 points to whoever knows what I'm quoting when I say scrappy insurgency, but it was kind of, I didn't really want to impose on all of the admissions office who are organizing this because it's the first in-person CPW in like 2 or 3 years, and they're crazy busy, and I'm just like one event of a million. So apart from like actually getting into the building, and I needed like a power strip and a cup of coffee. Apart from that, I'm kind of trying to you know, stay out of the way. Which means, like I'm just kind of roaming around looking for stuff. I like had to back my car up to the loading dock in order to like haul the stuff out before I would. So it was like me, the Pepsi truck, and the guy delivering muffins for Dunkin' Donuts this morning. We were all in the loading dock, doing our thing at like 6 this morning, and rolling around up here, locked out of places because I'm not a student or a staff member, so like I just don't have access anywhere. And oh, we're listening to the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. That's nice. And so I got set up here and everything, but then I didn't have a chair. So it's just like roaming the student center looking for chairs, and they have like chairs for like dining and like temporary folding chairs and things, but I wanted a computer chair if I'm going to be sitting in it for, dozens and dozens of hours. And so on the 3rd floor, if you go through a back door into a conference room, I found a computer chair, and that is what I'm sitting on. I also discovered something really cool. For this table, the legs, okay, so this is an IKEA tabletop, very, very high class. And the legs, IKEA legs, I don't know who's tried to buy IKEA legs lately, but they are not in stock. They are not in the US, I would wager. So you have to buy like knockoff IKEA legs, which is fine. For like 20 bucks, you get 4 legs, cheaper than IKEA, and they're like mostly the same. But the way they're not the same is like there's a threaded hole. Like the top of the leg has like a little steel plate with a threaded hole in it, and that's how you screw it onto a stud that comes down off the tabletop. And that plate is kind of, it can bend. Like you can put, you know, like the legs are long, right? So if like you torque a leg or you tweak a leg, it will deform that plate, and it'll make the leg wobbly. And it does not take much, especially if you are wheeling it around and like hit a bump. So I got the table out of my car, up the loading dock, up the elevator, and kind of near where I was going to start mounting monitors and getting all that set up. And then I looked, and all the legs were just like blah, 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 blah. Son of a gun. And I didn't really know like what the problem was yet. And so I started having all these horrible visions of like not being able to do this because, or doing it but looking like janky as all get out because the legs are like all cockeyed and whatnot. Then I looked, it was just the deformed plate. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Like I brought a bucket of tools to this. And so I dug into that's where the tape measure came from, like the bucket of tools. So dug into the bucket of tools and hold on, where is this on the screen here? How do I, okay, that's there. Oh, there's like this whole area off here that you guys can't see. That's sweet. I can like hide things there. I didn't have a hammer, but I had a crescent wrench. And so I just started beating the living daylights out of the top of this leg to kind of like flatten that plate back out. And I'm, oh. Gotta retry my needle. Should I have that ear cup behind? Ooh, that's not good. No, it's going to sit right in front of my ear. Beat it to within an inch of its life and got the leg straight. But like, it can handle maybe like, it can't handle bumps. It cannot handle bumps at all. So I suspect I'll be able to like move around within the student center a bunch. But if I like try to cross the street, I'm gonna have to enlist helpers to like carry this table because the legs will just fall off, and I can only bend those plates back into shape so often before they just break, and then I will be totally hosed. So that's what I learned today. It's a good day to learn it. Let's see, is that in? That's not on a camera, is it? No, cool. All right. I can put my phone here without screwing everything up. You guys are gonna, yeah, that's super good live stream behavior. It's just like randomly checking my phone. Here's the deal, if I'm gonna be doing this for all day long, every day, I'm gonna check my phone every so often to make sure that like my family is still okay. Let's see if anything pressing is happening. I did, however, leave my work phone somewhere else. So work will not be distracting me, which is good. I'm a firm believer in if you use paid time off, if you use vacation, don't answer your phone. I think I got that not from like some big work reform movement or life lesson or like mentor or something. I am almost certain that that came from, like, I think it was Mission Impossible 3. Maybe 2? I think it was Mission Impossible 3. The one with the big old rock climbing scene in the beginning with Tom Cruise, and they're like, you could have said where you went. And he's like, if I had, it wouldn't have been a vacation. And I was like, yeah, that's the spirit. That's a good attitude right there. Okay, so here's, all right, so check this out. I'm getting to a point where I'm going to have to start counting again, but I'm also running out of floss. So I am going to finish up this little piece of floss. I'm going to get to the end here, and then I'm going to do some counting, and then I'm going to mark the other side. So this part is like, this rectangle is going to be super critical that it is, it's going to be super critical that it's correct. because it's the reference, it's the datum essentially for everything else. Datum is like a reference point, 0, 0. Like think of a graph, right? 0, 0 is your datum. I mean, it could be anything, right? But it's all about like relative reference frames. So this rectangle is not like a point, but it has like the 4 corners, and those are going to be used as reference points for like everything else that I stitch here. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to be counting it and double checking it a lot before I continue on. So one thing I feel like I say all the time, but it bears repeating. There's some vocab and some general tips and things. So the thread that you use when you cross stitch is called floss. I'm sure calling it thread isn't like wrong, it's just not right. So that's called floss. When you buy floss, it comes twisted into a thread, and that thread has 6 strands. You never want to stitch with all 6 strands. You want to split it into 2 strands of 3. And by doing that, well, okay, that's not true. You split it into a smaller number of strands. I prefer doing 3. So when I cut off like an 18-inch length of floss and I get it ready to stitch with, I end up with 2 18-inch pieces of floss, each with 3 strands. Other people cross stitch with 2. It's all your preference. When you cross stitch with 2, your cross stitches will look more like little X's instead of little dots of color. That's always kind of how I describe it. So we'll get into that. Here, I'll show you here. Set the needle down for a half second. Okay, so let's do this. Make the pattern a little bigger here so you can see it. Oh, and then, okay, so then you can see my mouse. There you go. It's a good look, right? There's my mouse. If I go over here, you can't see it. Oh, I gotta go way the hell over here. Okay. Okay, so up on the pattern here. So you can see the crosses are there. It's called cross stitch because you're literally making little X's. So you do one stitch like in a forward slash direction between this hole and this hole, and then you do another stitch over that, and you make a little X. And the thicker the floss, or the more, actually, let's do this. This will be easier. Is that not working? That should work. We need to fix that. That should be a screen share right there. Hold on. We're going to do some on-the-fly debugging. Screen 1. There it is. Heyo. Okay. So that's why it's called cross-stitching, because you use these little holes in the floss, or in the, and I don't have the camera. Oh! Okay, let's do this. Here. So you use these, and is that upside down? What am I even doing, guys? Hold on. Do this overhead one. There we go. Okay. So you can see all the little holes in the fabric, right? So those holes essentially create the corners that you're using when you make the crosses. So you do like a forward slash, and then you do a backslash, and you typically will do like all forward slashes. You'll do like all forward slashes across, and then you'll come back over that with backslashes. And when you use 3 strands of floss, those forward slashes and backslashes, cumulative, like essentially completely cover the canvas behind them. Like there is enough thread and enough meat to that they cover the canvas. But if you're doing 2 threads, you can still see, like here, like you can see here that even though it's all full of stitches, like you can still see the little blue bits of canvas behind it. That is indicative of like using 2 strands. So I prefer 3. I prefer like the little, essentially pixels. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, I prefer it to look like pixels and not like X's. Even though it's called cross stitching, I don't like the cross aesthetic. All right, let's go back here. There we go. Oh, I want to mark this. So let's see. Let's get this pattern looking like I want it to here. So let's put on, no, we can leave the grid off for a half second. Definitely not the marks. Don't want the marks. So what we want to know is how wide is this? 81. Okay. So we got to go 81 across. So I'm going to just mark that now. So like, man, if you guys liked it when I counted to 41, you're going to love when I count to 81. Yikes, that sucks. So let's verify that this is 41 first. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Okay, so that top one is 41. That's good. Now I just need to get 40 to the left. If you're just tuning in, I am making sure that within the first hour, I do not make a mistake that lasts for like the next 3 days. So I'm making sure that this box, this rectangle, which is, let me zoom in a little bit on the pattern. It's this rectangle right here, like these top and bottom lines. I'm making sure that that's correctly positioned and is the correct size. So that's 41, and I need 81. So I need to go 40 in the other direction. Okay, so that's from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. All right. I'm going to do 3 of them just to make sure. And I'm actually going to go up a little bit. So I'm going to make like a little corner. Up a little corner. And I'll hold this up so you can see what I just did. So you can see. Oh, that's super clear. I love it. Oh, it disappears when I put my hand under it. But like, you see that little like right angle that I did there? That's what I'm stitching towards. Okay, so I used all of that piece of black floss. So this is what I was talking about here. Is like, so this piece of black floss has 3 strands in it, but it used to have 6. But I just used half of it. And so this should get me essentially, I mean, I'm basically halfway back around. All right, onward. Coming up on an hour of this. Time flies. I think it's time flies because I'm not like squirreled away in my basement alone while doing this. There's like ambient noise and people and just kind of general excitement. So I've got my location marked out. I am, as you can see, kind of streaming across the top there. I am like actually in Boston. Well, okay, that's not true. I'm in Cambridge, but whatever. Like, it's Boston. I am in Cambridge. I am actually on MIT's campus, which is exciting. It's a 17-hour drive to get here, but I got here. And swing by and say hi, or just tune in, or just don't tune in. It's cool. No matter what happens, I will be cross-stitching until Sunday afternoon, at which point I will get into my car and then I will drive home for 17 hours. But this is like the in real life version of what used to be only an online experience. And I think I like the in real life version probably more because there's chatter and buzz. I'm positioned here so I can see everybody coming in with their bags. Um, like there's like a suitcase check. So if you want to dump your, like if your host isn't, when you get here early, and like okay, 2 steps back here. When you come to CPW, you are assigned a host, current student who like, essentially shelters you, gives you a place to sleep and shower. And those hosts are not always ready for you, like at 8 a.m. on Thursday, the first day of CPW. They tend to be more ready on Friday because guess what? It's MIT, so you know what? They don't get these days off. I guarantee there are people who are hosting students today who are currently taking exams. Um, and so they have this bag check here so that when you come in, you drop your bag, and then you can continue on your way. So I'm kind of strategically positioned here that I'm not like obvious. You have to kind of turn left, but I am obvious enough that like if someone wants to engage, which I'll tell you right now, if I was here for CPW, I would 100% not engage because that's really uncomfortable. I wonder if anyone's going to talk to me. Probably not. Yes. But anyway, so you can see what's going on. And then I put a big like vinyl sticker on part of this setup here that has a link to the stream so people can listen to it and check it out before coming over. I do have goodies for people who stop by though. So, but yeah, so I'm positioned here kind of like in this lounge theater thing, and got some natural light behind me. I guess you can see where I am. You can see like people walking by and around. I got some blue and green behind me. It's weird to think I always just have like a white wall or a green screen. It's weird to like check my thumbnail and see. Let me go. Yeah, there's like people in junk back there. How cool is that? Hope they're okay being on camera. I did not have anybody sign releases, but shh, I'm not going to worry about that. No. Probably going to just stitch quietly for a little bit, unless more people jump in here, because I got to save my voice. I can't talk for 3 days straight and cross stitch for 3 days straight. It's just not feasible. Is not. But I will be able to see the chat. So if someone does jump in and does ask a question, I will be able to respond to that. Checking in. All right. I'm coming up on that position I marked here. And as I get up to it, I'm going to take the corner, but then I'm probably going to count to 81 again, which is not something I super look forward to doing. But I also, more than that, don't look forward to like having been awake for 48 hours and realizing that I messed up when I was only an hour into this. So I'm going to just bite the bullet. It's that whole like measure twice, cut once thing. If you are off here, like there are such huge ramifications because this is going to establish like I've got some columns here. You can kind of see them up here on the pattern, but like I've got some things that are like very regularly spaced underneath this rectangle that I'm doing. And if this is just like a stitch too long or too short, it's just all bad. Okay. I guess just one more and then I'm there. There it is. All right, so I'm going to take this corner just to kind of mark it. Okay. I count now. So another thing I always do is I always bring tweezers. So these tweezers can help grab the thread or grab the floss, or I use them to count. So when I put them together like this, I go boop, 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 when I count. Okay. So this is the exciting part of the stream. This is the listen to Snively count to 81. So first thing we want to do is confirm that we actually are counting to 81. So let's zoom this out here so we can lasso the whole thing. Okay. 81 is the number. So let's zoom back in here. 81. Ready, set, go. So I've already verified that this is 41. So I feel comfortable counting just these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. By that. One more time? Yeah, I think one more time. Why not? It's the measure twice, right? So that was once. Now I got to measure twice. The counting from the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Yep, dead on. All right. We don't have to keep doing that. We're good to go. So the rest of this gets way easier now. I should actually like calculate the delay here. Let's figure out a clever way to do that. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a stopwatch going here. And I'm going to put my hand onto the hoop and start the timer and then see when it like shows up on the stream. Okay? Ready, set, boop. 6-second delay. What am I, like, talking to Mars or something? Come on. That doesn't seem right. Oh well. Thus is life.
I think it's a profit. So if you go downstairs, once you're downstairs, if you're like looking out of the thing, there's a next set of stairs that goes down, so you're that's like the basic school.
Coming up on an hour here. When we get to an hour, I think I'm going to take a quick break. It's not going to be a long one. I just want to like walk a lap around and check the setup, maybe clean some stuff up. We got piles. I didn't get a chance to organize everything the way I wanted to, so let's take a quick break here. So I should be able to just do this. All right, we are back. Let's see, might need to move the camera just a hair. What direction? Yep, that's the right direction. I like that. I rotated a bit, so you should have a slightly different view behind me. I've also got some actual music piping in these now, which, you guys can't see or hear, but, it's not all about you. I also topped up the coffee. Critical. Oh, yeah, now I gotta do this, right? All right. Time since last break, reset. 2-0. 5 points to whoever knows what I'm listening to in my headphones. I always say it's not my biggest fear, but one of my fears is that when I listen to music during these, is that I'll start singing and humming along. And my mic is, shocker, my mic doesn't actually have the music pumping into it. I guess I could always just enable the desktop audio and then immediately get muted on YouTube, which is not something I want. Oh, but I can do this. Ready? I think this button here. Now you know what I'm listening to. Okay. Think. So while only one person is on here, I want to try something. So on this one, I think I want, oh, that's just not right at all. I want this one. I want you over here. And I'm willing to sacrifice some real estate there. That is much mo better. Mo better. Okay. Oh, and now we're down to 0. My wife has abandoned me. Okay, so let's now go back home. I love this natural daylight. See that? How that lights that up? So it's like dark, and then it's like, ooh. And so I'm stitching black on blue, and so it's not always easy to see the quality of the stitches. But when I tip it like this, you get a really good view of it. Get closer to me, you can see that there. And it's all looking pretty good. Oh God, it says that, and then whenever you, whenever it does that, you just feel it like it's like drags through. Okay, so here's a lesson. I don't know if you can see. I'll get some contrast there, but when I lower the floss, it'll like twist up, and when it does that, it gets all so. Yeah, turn it upside down, right angle, untwist. There it is. Okay, we're good to go. So what I was saying is it looks like I'm stitching this full rectangle like all the way right now. But when I get back around like this, that's only halfway there. Like that's the brutality of cross stitching, is I'm only doing the half stitches right now, and then the next lap around is going to be doing the other half of every stitch. So if you ever hear the difference between like needle point and cross stitch, needle point typically is like bigger, like far fewer stitches per inch, and then bigger needle, bigger thread, and everything. And usually it's like printed on. Well, I say usually, I don't know. I was told that it's like the pattern is printed on the needle point fabric, but that only does those half stitches, like only forward slashes. So it takes half as much time to do one of those as it does to do one of these. That's why I have so much time allocated here to get this done, because of just how long cross stitching takes. It's also why, unless you have like a YouTube channel or sell patterns or something, there's like almost no way to legitimately monetize like actually cross stitching for a living, like commissions and whatnot. Like again, you do the stitches per inch and you look at the rates and it pays like $4 an hour. Like the market will bear about $4 an hour for cross stitching, unless I don't know, you're a speed demon or you're cross stitching for Mr. Moneybags. But right, big moment coming up here. All right, box is finished with the half stitches. I got just one stitch. Nothing's wrong with it. Like it looks right, but it's like I think I just pulled a little tight. It's like a little out of tension. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it even when I hold it up like that. So if you look right here. Sorry, this is right here. See how that just looks a little like asymmetric and funky? There's nothing obviously. The back is super. I think I just pulled a little tight and over tensioned it. It's unfortunate. It should. If I can clean it up a bit with the needle. Just kind of tease it back into. Yeah, not gonna worry too much about it. Oh, and then also see, ooh, check out the back. Like, I'm also a sucker for like clean backs of the cross stitch, so I get it doesn't matter like literally at all, because no one will ever see it unless you frame it a very specific way. But I am proud of like the backside of my cross stitches. I take pride in how clean they look. So it'll never look as good as the front, but it should look about as clean as the front, but with little like areas of double bold, so you can see how those areas are a little thick, and that represents like a splice. So like every time you see one of these, that's the beginning or the end of a stitch or of a run of floss. So I've gotten to the beginning of the thing. So now I've got to start doing my back stitches to finish it all up.
Yes. How many things are you? It should match. So yeah, we also talk back off. Oh, okay. I mean, like, I think my their name is right. Yeah. But yeah, and they're gonna be on here. Yeah.
Send a quick email here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I can where do you see that like you know what big brick building, right? Okay, so like next to and I see going so if you just take this street that's at the top from us, you will just like walk past like high. You just know it's high. High is kind of like high, very high, and very low. So you shouldn't even miss it if you're like walking along. It's if you put it in the like it should show.
Oh, that's Okay. Some bookkeeping done. I was not in like the event catalog guide thing. Oh well. But now, soon I will be. That's why, earlier, it's like they locked down the event guide so that no one outside of MIT can see it, including me. So there was no way to verify that it was there or not, so they just went and checked just now, and they were like, oh, crap, we didn't actually advertise that you were going to be here. So now they are. Getting that plugged in. Should probably set my phone up so that it actually, like, vibrates or something. That'll be obnoxious on the stream, but I gotta know when people are reaching out. It's important. So I'll show you a little bit what this looks like here. It is getting louder. I think I probably have my mic settings correct, but it is getting louder here. So you can see which parts, oh yeah, really clear. Like you can see which parts I've completed the full stitch on and which parts I haven't. Because it's gotten thicker. All right, working my way. I've got the full box. Cross stitching is like many activities. It's like not so exciting content for a long time, and then all of a sudden more content that's not that exciting. Uh, it reminds me of, like, it feels like every activity I have is like that. Um, so cross stitching is not a great spectator sport, which is interesting because people actually tune in to watch this from time to time. But then the other ones, it seems like every hobby or sport that I do is similar. So like long distance running, super exciting spectator sport there. Whenever I have like a marathon or a half marathon, my wife comes and she just sits quietly for hours until I'm done. And then back when I skydived, again, like you just sit on the ground and wait for people to land, and like all the cool stuff happens in the air. So also not a great spectator sport in the moment, right? There's like video you can watch, but I don't know. Like I think it's because I'm drawn to like solitary activities where I don't have to actually interact with people. Or in the instance of a live stream, I interact with people, but I just talk, right? Because talking is certainly something that I will openly admit that I enjoy and I'm good at. I don't know. All right. We're cooking, we're doing it, we're getting it done. Working my way. It's gonna be time for some more floss soon. I can go through that process. Little how to get a cross stitch starter tutorial.
Oh, wait.
So one thing I can tell is, so normally I stitch with plastic hoops, and I always hold it here. But here it's wood and it's got a certain amount of porosity. So I can feel like it kind of getting absorbing sweat or oils, but like the quality of the wood is changing. And so it'll be fun to look at the end of this weekend, see what the wood there looks like, whether it's like polished or like a different color or deformed, but like there's going to be a lot more stress like right here on the hoop as the weekend goes on. Also, God bless MIT's internet speeds and bandwidth. I mean, I can stream this this stream isn't totally ridiculous, so like I can do it from my house, which is like, Indiana internet speeds, but I've got all sorts of little metrics and color codes and things here that are just all green and pegged at max speed and bitrate and all that because MIT, right? Like, it's not incentive enough to like get admitted and do MIT, but like a massive perk of going to MIT is just like insane, awesome, super cool internet. And this is just Wi-Fi. I'm not even hardlined into anything. That'd be cool. I could stream all my 1080 cameras in 4K. Ooh, look at that. You can still see me. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, nothing I have is in 4K in all of my videos. I guess everything's been cropped, so you're already getting it in higher than native. All right. Let's start a new one. Who are you? I don't want you. You have nothing to do with what I'm doing. Get out of here. The colors. The colors. You go here. 796? Yeah, you go here with my other 796. So that's another thing about cross stitching is all the colors are numbered. And a big part of the company that makes all the cross stitch stuff, DMC, like a big part of their thing is that they keep the colors consistent. So you could start a cross stitch one year and then 10 years later come back and buy floss that's the same color, and it'll look the same and won't look funky. That being said, if you are cross stitching and you anticipate like taking a break and having to come back to it in a few years, it would be worth stopping at a point that is like finish an entire color, like don't stop mid color, or finish like a color in a certain area, so that like don't stop like midline, right? Because then when you start up again, you'll see the color change. So like finish something in like one area, like a full color in this area, and then start that same color over here, so that it looks, so that you can't tell. All right, so now I'll show you how this works. So I blasted through this at the very beginning of the stream. So you got to split this. These are 6 strands here. So this piece of floss has 6 strands. So typically what I do is I'll just lay it over my index finger and I'll kind of rub it back and forth to kind of split the strands open. Stick a needle in there, pull it apart, and boom. Now you have 2. Just like that. And then slowly, because it untwists and then you can see it there in front of my face, maybe. If autofocus works, yeah. Anyway, you can see it kind of untwisting as I pull it apart. And if you just yank it, it won't untwist. It'll just knot and jam and bind and damage. So there we go. You let it untwist. And then I just set that aside. I wonder if is there a clever spot I can put it? I can put it here. Is that in the camera? See, I'm going to hang it from the overhead camera. Oh yeah, it hangs right in front of my face. That's a terrible spot for it. Okay. I have just been laying it off to the side, but I feel like there's more that can be done. Oh well, I'll just lay it off to the side. All right. Get this all threaded. Then we'll launch back into it. Boom, 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 boom. So another huge lesson with cross stitching is don't ever, for the love of God, ever tie a knot. Knots are unacceptable. There are ways to do anything that avoid knots. The trickiest one is just a single stitch, like in the middle of nothing, because without a knot, if you use like traditional finishing techniques there, it can easily fray and come out. So, but I can talk about techniques for that as we get into it later. But there's a way to like bind it up and stitch it so that it doesn't come out. And I think if you look at the pattern, pull up the pattern here. I think I have some of those. Oh yeah, all these little stars, right? So like these little single stitches, you can see when I click to the render, those are just on the fabric. There's no stitching around them. If I have a single stitch, sorry about that. If I have a single stitch just in the middle of stuff, I don't really have a good example of that. Well, of course, yeah. This is hard mode right here. This kind of like matrix waterfall stitch thing. The big trick to this is like when you're stitching these along the back, like it can be tempting to hop from stitch to stitch to stitch. Ooh, say that 10 times fast along the back. And then you could potentially see those hops and jumps through the front of the fabric. So if you were doing this properly, like really legitimately properly, you would, each one of these little chunks would be a separate grouping of stitches that you would finish off on the back. But that would take hours. So we're going to just not go there yet. We're just going to not deal with that problem. I'll save it for when I'm super duper tired and exhausted, and do it then. All right. Isn't it cute? Look at that. So the other cool thing about doing all half stitches and then finishing them off with full stitches is that I don't have to look at the pattern for like the next half hour or so because I am stitching over stitches that are already there. All right, getting that all, so you can see on the back, I just said don't knot things. Oh, that's terrible. I'll show it to you later, but you don't knot things, you actually just, there's, whenever you stitch through the back, right, like you pull through and then you go back over to the front, and whenever you do that, you create a loop. Like, there's a loop here. And this loop is what you use to like capture the tail of whatever thread you're trying to tie, that you would typically like tie off, but you don't, you just trap it under there. Yep. So that's what these dark sections are. These dark sections are like the tails of different pieces of floss that have been trapped underneath those loops. Mm. I wonder if I should add some text to the screen that like encourages people to come up and talk to me. Otherwise, like, who would possibly know to like come interrupt and ask questions? So, how should I phrase that? Let's see. Let's do it live. Let's live production design here. So let's put it. Probably, where do we want to put it? Probably like down along the bottom, right? Although, like, as often as not, I'm holding this here. Where can I put it? I don't necessarily want to put it up on that banner. I could put it like right under me, like right here. Or on the pattern. Let's just, let's wing it, okay? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, right here. Let's put some drop shadow on it. Outline. Just a hair. Outline color. Let's do some black. Oh, oh, just a little. So that you can see it. Boom. There. Center. Let's center it. How about that? It's not terrible. The outline is maybe a bit much. So let's dial that back. How's that? Yeah, not enough. Bold, right? It needs to be bold. Bold, 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 bold. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Everything is good. Can you see that even when I'm like this? Yeah. See it here? Yeah. Copy. All right. Then let's do a little window arrangement here. Okay, here we go.
Hi. If anyone who's not eating their food soon and you want to check your bag, come over here. Unless you're also picking it up soon, then you don't need to. No, it's all. And are you? Yeah, I can do it. Okay, yeah. So you can leave your mask. Okay. If people leave on the side, let them know. You're hosting and you people. Oh, wait, are you gonna go out? Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna go around this way.
So upset. I'm gonna bet you I know. Yeah, of course. What's your name? Favorite. Yeah.
Let's see. Is that adjustable lumbar? Hold on. We're gonna have a second here. We're gonna explore the features of my chair. Okay. That does not feel adjustable. None of that feels adjustable. What's this do? I don't know. Is there a way to lock the recline? I think no. I think if I... How about? Add something to this banner really quick. Whoa. More on the fly production. Banner. Da, 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 da. Edit, 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 edit. Here we go. And then, oh, look at this. Here we go. How's that? There we go. Wha. Oh, I love that sun. I've only ever streamed from my basement. So there's big ass windows here. You can see them here. Like the natural daylight that I'm getting from those is making this really nice. I can actually see what I'm doing. So that either means I need to start streaming like near places with windows, or I need to increase the number of like lights in my streaming location and setup. Just rocking out to here. I'll show you. Rocking out to some Fallout Boy. You can't hear it. I would totally share it with you because I'm a sharing kind of person. But the instant I do that, boop, YouTube mutes the whole thing. And I want this stream to be like 12 hours long. And I refuse to have 12 hours worth of stream muted for 30 seconds worth of Fallout Boy. It's just not worth it to me. So you'll just have to try to guess what song I'm listening to based on like the random and inconsistent bopping back and forth and the odd like whistle or hum. This is all just so ridiculous. It's like, oh no, that's not your computer. If I am quiet, it is because I am not. I am fairly certain I am not muted. I'm saying this is so ridiculous because it's like the like what does this at all have to do with MIT other than the fact that I went here? Like all of the other events are like, oh, tour this dorm or learn about this department. And here it's like, watch me cross stitch. Why? I don't know. It's all good. I'm coming up on finishing this box. And I'm also coming up on 2 hours. So like this would be a really great time to like just keep track of my stitches per minute, because I can do a quick gut check to see if I'm gonna even come close to finishing this, or like how many hours per day I need to do in order to do this. It's been fairly uninterrupted, right? Like I've been stitching pretty much. I haven't done anything unusual during either of these two 1 hour long chunks. So we can do math in our head. I think I can do math in my head. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 81 plus 81 is 162. Plus 10, 172. Okay. 172 stitches in 120 minutes. So my stitches per minute, it's over 1 stitch per minute, like 1.5 stitches per minute ish. Yeah, I'll call it 1.5 stitches per minute, which is right on track for what I was expecting. So in order to finish this entire pattern, I will need to stitch for 16 hours a day for the next 3 days, with minimal interruptions or breaks. Now, I've designed this pattern in such a way that like I can kind of do it in chunks. So like here, yeah, we'll talk about pattern design. That's what we'll do right now. So knowing that I may not be able to, I want to finish. The goal is to have something finished at the end of this, and then I'll frame it, send it to admissions, and then they'll either put it on the wall or they'll throw it in a garbage can. That's the goal. So I don't want to get to the end and have it look unfinished. So I kind of designed it to be modular. So you'll notice the building is all outlined in black. So at the very least, I can do the building. And while upsetting, that would not look like an incomplete cross stitch. And then I can put CPW 2022 on it, and then I can put IHTFP on it, and then I can do the police car. Then I can do the colored columns. Then I can do the moon. You know, like all of these things are like one on top of the other, and it won't look unfinished if I don't do them. And then at the very end, if I truly just hate myself, I don't know if you can tell, but that building is filled in. I can do, let's see, let's check the pattern and see just like what's going on there. So the building is filled in with 2,300 stitches. Sorry, I'm looking at a screen that you can't see right now. Here, let's share, shall we? Okay. So the building is full of 2,300 stitches, you can see right here. And so where's the calculator going to pop up? So 2,300 stitches divided by 1.5 stitches per minute is that many minutes, divided by 60. So that's like a full day of just filling in the building. Oh no. So realistically what's going to happen though, because there's realistically what's going to happen is like you're not going to get the same level of efficiency. Like that 1.5 stitches per minute, that's me just cruising along doing just standard stitches, no thought, no looking at the pattern, just stitching in a line. So that gets significantly less efficient. That stitches per minute will drop as I get into areas like these columns, because those columns use a different type of floss. It's a little harder to work with. Plus I will finish the column in just like a few minutes, and then I'll have to finish off that color and get a new color. So my efficiency will drop dramatically there. So needless to say, I'm going to be filling in the dome. That's going to be the last thing I do. And then I'm going to have to modularize and piecemeal that too. So I'll start with the round bit and then work my way down. All right, that's enough of that. So let's get off that pattern because no one wants to see that. Let's go back to our, there we go. This is not a stretch break. It's just a stretch. You'll know it's a stretch break when it looks like this. Boop. But it doesn't look like that. So it looks like this. Here we go.
Feel that tag right over here. And then you're going to keep this perforated.
All right, so now would be a good opportunity to kind of like show how you avoid tying knots in this. So what you have here on the back are the two pieces of floss. One is the tail end of what I was just stitching, and then the other is the tail end of what I'm just starting to stitch. And in order to deal with those, like it could be tempting to just like knot those together or tie them, but then you end up with a bump on the back of the fabric. So when you go to like mount it into a frame or something, you'll see that bump, or it'll like distort the fabric that you're stitching. That orange one come out? My dock did. Interesting. Ugh.